Okay, here's the last thing we need to talk about. It's called algebraic division, but don't let that put you off. In fact, we've done pretty much the same thing before. Okay, we've got a cubic. We're going to express it as a product of two factors with a remainder. And this is exactly the same grid method we used when we knew that x plus 2 is a factor. It's just that this time the grid isn't going to quite work out on its own, so we're going to need a remainder to actually get the target expression. So as before, we set up a grid. So I've got my x plus 2 down the side, that's this one here. I want a 2x cubed to appear in the grid. So I'm going to need a 2x squared at the top. I'm going to get a 4x squared whether I want it or not. I want minus 1x squared, so I'm going to need a minus 5x squared here. In order to create that, I'm going to need to multiply my x by minus 5x. So down here I'm going to get minus 10x, whether I want it or not. I only want minus 5x, so I'm going to need a plus 5x. So in the bracket I'm going to need x times 5 to give me 5x. Okay, and down here I'm going to get a 10, whether I want it or not. So this bracket will fill in as 2x squared minus 5x plus 5. Okay. However, what have I made work? I've made the 2x cubed work. There it is. I've got my minus x squared. I've got my minus 5x, so they all work. But I've got a 10, whereas really I wanted a minus 1. So what I've got to do is turn that 10, get rid of it, and introduce the minus 1. So I could do it in two stages with minus 10 to get rid of that one, and then minus 1. Or you might want to do it in your head and go straight to minus 11. Okay? Either way is right. So here's our answer. So we can say that A equals 2, B equals, number of x's is minus 5, don't forget the minus, C is 5, and R equals minus 11. Okay? And we're done. However, there's a check. And maybe an earlier part of the question may have actually helped you with this. This R, of course, this bit left over at the end, is the remainder. So we can check that we've got the remainder that we should have done. So what were we dividing by? The answer is this x plus 2 is the factor we were trying to drag out. So the magic x, this is not part of the official solution, it's just a check. The magic x was, what makes x plus 2 equal 0? The answer is minus 2. So I should look at the polynomial with minus 2 substituted in. So we'll put minus 2 in for all the x's. Here it is. Minus 2 cubed is minus 8. Double it, minus 16. Minus 2 squared is plus 4, but I've got a minus in front, so it's minus 4. Minus 5 times minus 2 is minus 10. Minus 1. Okay. No, that's a plus 10 there, isn't it? Okay, so minus 16, minus 4, plus 10, minus 1. Well, that's minus 21. All the negatives added up, plus 10 is minus 11. Ta-da! This is correctly predicted the correct remainder, and that's a good check that we've got the right answers. But the solution as such finished there. So we're done.